Pakistan mosque bombing death toll rises to 100, and Sarawak MULLS second methanol plant. Skilled auto technicians in high demand. These are the headlines for tonight. You're now with me, Sholcha Mato, and this is TVS Nightline. The death toll in the suicide bombing that tore through a mosque in Pakistan rose to 100 on Tuesday. Pakistan police said that investigations are underway into the Monday explosion.
The attack occurred in one of the most fortified areas of the northwestern Peshawar city, which houses offices of the police and counter-terrorism departments. The bomber blew himself up shortly after hundreds of worshippers lined up to say their afternoon prayer, the latest in a string of attacks targeting police. Officials say that 100 people had been killed, mostly policemen, with 170 injured, 7 of whom were in critical condition. No one has claimed responsibility. Pakistani Taliban, known as Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, an umbrella of Sunni and sectarian Islamist groups, has denied responsibility.
Sarawak is weighing plans to develop a second methanol plant. This is a move set to reinforce Sarawak's emerging appeal as a potential hub for petrochemicals. As such, the proposed plant has the potential to spawn the growth of downstream petrochemical businesses.
Saya telah diberi taklimat, kita akan memulakan juga selepas metanol ini, kita bangunkan loji yang kedua. Yang kedua akan kita mulakan sejurus kita complete metanol 1. Dan dari sudut financing semua sudah kita sediakan. Ini private sector investment, bukan kerajaan.
He said this to reporters after visiting the Sarawak Petchem methanol plant in Tanjung KINDURONG on Tuesday.
Setakat ini saya telah diberi taklimat bahawa pelaksanaannya mengikut jadual, schedule, dan ini adalah tahun terakhir untuk mereka membangunkan loji ini. Dan saya difahamkan bahawa pada bulan April ini mereka akan memulakan trial dengan gas yang akan disalurkan kepada loji ini. Dan kalau ia berjalan seperti mana yang telah kita rancangkan, Sarawak akan commission pengeluaran metanol pada bulan Januari 2024. That means we are on schedule producing our own methanol for open market.
The 5 billion ringgit Petchem methanol plant is scheduled for operation in the first quarter of 2024.
5G network will be established in Kindurong to further expand the economic sector in Sarawak, identified as a necessary upgrade in providing better coverage for major industrial players in the area.
Datuk Julahi telah berhubung dengan pihak DNB di mana akan dipasangkan saluran 5G di kawasan seluruh ini. Ia akan dilaksanakan bersama dengan target kita 2024. Sekarang ini pun sudah dipasangkan beberapa area 5G. Bermakna kalau 2024 seluruh Kidurong dan juga Samalaju dan juga sebahagian daripada Bintulu akan kita naik taraf kepada 5G dengan harapan ia dapat ditingkatkan lagi kepada kelajuan yang lebih tinggi.
During the work visit by the Premier, he also awarded certificates to 6 companies that succeeded in achieving 10 million work hours without injuries at the Sarawak Petchem Methanol project site. The 6 companies are Samsung Engineering Malaysia, China Communications Construction Company Sendirian Berhad, Rahapco Engineering and Construction Sendirian Berhad, Sea Energy Sendirian Berhad, Syarikat Cahaya Daya Sendirian Berhad, and WZS Misi Setia Sendirian Berhad.
Plans for the building of the nation's tallest flagpole in Sarawak has been unveiled. The establishment is to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the formation of the Federation of Malaysia. The flagpole will reach 99 meters and once completed would erase the national record of the current tallest flagpole at Merdeka Square in Kuala Lumpur, which stands at 95 meters.
Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts, Dato Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, pointed out that the construction of the flagpole will be funded by private companies and will be a new landmark to attract more tourists to visit Sarawak.
Perancangan itu sebagai satu daripada perancangan untuk mencantikkan lagi Bandaraya Kuching dalam usaha kita untuk menarik minat lebih ramai pelancong ke negara dan juga negeri kita, dan landmark yang baru, ikonik structure yang baru yang mungkin dalam perancangan selepas kita membina waterfront, selepas kita membina ice bridge, dewangan negeri dan fountain. Bagi saya, prasarana baru, mercu tanda yang baru yang dirancang oleh kerajaan, semuanya menjurus untuk menyemarakkan lagi suasana keadaan setempat. Dan bukan kita nak membina tiang bendera begitu saja, mesti ada sebab-sebab tertentu. Tahun ini adalah tahun kita menyambut ulang tahun ke-60 Sarawak Merdeka.
Commenting further on the controversial comments regarding the construction speculated on social media, Karim said Sarawak still has extra allocation which can be used to build facilities for tourism purposes.
Bukan semua duit untuk buat sekolah, bukan semua duit untuk buat hospital dan jalan raya saja. Duit-duit kalau kita ada lebih, tidak ada jadi masalah untuk duit-duit tersebut digunakan untuk prasarana lain untuk mencantikkan bandaraya.
In addition, he commented that the flagpole will also signify Sarawak's achievements in regaining its rights and privileges under the Malaysia Agreement 1963.
Technology is transforming blue-collar workforces, in which electric car technicians are in high demand in Sarawak as the automotive industry continues to grow.
Sarawak Premier Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said the entry of electric vehicles and other bleeding-edge technology into the market will impact the technician demand. Thereby, he proposed that Pekema play an important role in producing the required skilled workforce.
We need technician yang boleh merepairkan kalau ada kerosakan. Dan ini menjadi satu bidang latihan yang harus Pekema boleh bantu menerusi, mungkin kerjasama dengan universiti kita dalam melahirkan technician yang boleh orang membantu dalam usaha-usaha elektrik motor.
In the meantime, Abang Johari also said it is high time that Sarawak conducts research on recycling lithium car batteries.
Seluruh company kereta sekarang ini sedang buat kajian bagaimana hendak mengkitarkan bateri supaya lithium ini tidak merebak dan tidak menjadi waste product yang boleh mengancamkan alam sekitar. Mungkin PEKMA boleh membuat kajian.
He said this in his speech at the launching ceremony of the EVFY adoption co-organized with PEKMA and SEDC Energy on Tuesday.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim also lauded Sarawak's advancement in the production of hydrogen energy. According to Sarawak Premier Datuk Pati Tan Sri Awang Johari Tunapeng, Anwar said so during his recent official visit to Singapore.
Bahkan semalam saya di Singapura, di mana ada MOU di antara kerajaan Malaysia dengan Singapura yang berlandaskan kepada apa disebut green energy dan juga digitalization. Perdana Menteri kita mengatakan Sarawak is more advanced in this. Kalah KL.
Recently, Malaysia signed a memorandum of understanding with Singapore in the digital economy and green energy. Sarawak has agreed to provide electricity as well as carbon trading to Singapore.
The Ministry of Women, Family and Community Development KPWKM has placed the establishment of a special department for children as its main focus in the 2023 budget. Its Minister Datuk Sri Nancy Shukri said she had requested that priority be given to her ministry to strengthen children's care in Malaysia, especially those who are under the protection of KPWKM.
Pada kali ini, bajet kita yang kita fokuskan ialah untuk memperkasakan dari sudut penjagaan kepada kanak-kanak dan juga yang mereka yang di bawah the abuse cases, mereka terutama sekali mereka yang di bawah perlindungan kita. Namun macam tu kita juga memberi tumpuan kepada pengujudan satu lagi jabatan kanak-kanak. Jadi sebab itu saya telah memohon supaya diberi keutamaan kepada kita.
According to Nancy, guardians, supervisors and moral officers need relevant knowledge and skills to handle cases of child abuse and neglect. Thus, the allocation given is also to provide and fund training to improve the skills level of guardians, supervisors and moral officers.
Malah ia juga meliputi latihan untuk upskilling kepada penjaga-penjaga, penyelia ataupun pegawai akhlak. Kita nak tingkatkan mereka yang menjadi penjaga, mereka tingkatkan grading mereka supaya mereka mempunyai the necessary skills dan juga knowledge, pengetahuan dan juga kemahiran dalam menangani kes-kes seperti ini.
She added that her ministry has also asked for a special provision to establish a centralized data system for any cases involving children. And this centralized data system is to simplify the search of information on child abuse and neglect cases due to the difficulty of obtaining related data.
Allowing depositors to withdraw their own employees' provident fund or EPF savings may not be a sustainable long-term solution for the people. Economic expert Dr. Madeline Burma stressed the matter should serve as the last option. As such, the government has to seek comprehensive solutions for the betterment of the people.
Madeline said withdrawing EPF funds is only beneficial for a short period that poses a long-term impact on the people. At the same time, withdrawing the funds may pose a serious threat in the future due to inadequate contributions or savings. Meanwhile, an economics lecturer from the University of Malaysia Sarawak UNIMAS, Dr. Zul Hazwan Hussaini, said the government should introduce other measures to help depositors with lower contributions.
Ahli-ahli yang mempunyai simpanan yang kecil ini, kebanyakan mereka adalah berpendapatan yang rendah. Kenapa? Definitely mereka tak ada kerja. Kan? Ada yang dah di rumah, definitely tak ada kerja. Sebab tak ada caruman yang berlaku setiap bulan. Menyebabkan simpanan mereka tu tidak mampan kalau kerajaan membenarkan pengeluaran KWSP lamsam ataupun mereka nak mengeluarkan semua. Okay, kerajaan harus memberi option. Sebab setiap orang tu, saya katakan tadi, 3,000, 4,000 mungkin kecil untuk kita tapi bermakna untuk dia orang. Okay, kalian boleh bagi option sama ada untuk mengeluarkan. Tapi yang saya harap kerajaan harus memikirkan tentang kalau membenarkan mereka mengeluarkan jumlah sebanyak yang ada ataupun sebahagian sedikit, kerajaan harus to come up with some other thing yang boleh membantu mereka untuk survive, untuk meringankan beban mereka dari segi, kalau tak dari segi material ataupun direct cash, mungkin dari segi contoh apa kita kena tahu apa masalah, adakah mereka ni masih lagi bergelut dengan masalah hutang. Kalau hutang dari bank, kerajaan harus to come up with some enforcement, berbincang dengan bank negara bagaimana caranya untuk kita meringankan beban-beban yang masih lagi komit dengan hutang.
Commenting further, Zul said the withdrawals may provide short-term relief. However, it is not sustainable.
Ini yang berlaku yang sebelum ni. Kerajaan membenarkan pengeluaran itu berlaku dan ianya memberi impak, tapi dalam jangka masa yang singkat. Dan saya faham, dulu perkembangan ekonomi kita agak lembab. Sekarang ekonomi telah mula berkembang. Dari kontranya dan konnya, dari keburukannya yang perlu kita fikir adalah satu, kita harus memikirkan tentang masa depan. Okay, masa depan. At least KWSP ni salah satu disiplin yang baik bagi ahli-ahlinya untuk mempunyai security di masa akan datang. Tetapi again, yang saya katakan tadi, keadaan sekarang amat sulit bagi kita dalam menempuh pasca pandemik dan pada masa sama kita menempuh dengan masalah isu-isu global yang menyebabkan kenaikan kos sara hidup.
Coming up right after the break, Sabah Sarawak heirloom rice has a bright future in the specialty rice segment, and Malaysia benefits greatly from medical MOU. Right here on TVS Nightline, stay tuned. Welcome back to the Nightline. The latest report by Khazanah Research Institute, KRI, on the paddy and rice industry in Sarawak and Sabah stated there is potential in commercializing and growing the specialty rice segment in Malaysia. Despite yielding only around 142,000 metric tons, or less than 9% of the total rice produced in Malaysia, heirloom rice or specialty rice is currently valued at 3.1 billion ringgit, which is equivalent to that of the modern plain rice variety, which values at 3.3 billion ringgit. The report, The Paddy and Rice Industry of Sabah and Sarawak, Status and Potential, launched on Tuesday, outlines the need to preserve the seeds of over-specialty rice varieties to prevent the genetic loss of their unique characteristics. Its chairman, Tan Sri Noor Muhammad Yaakob, said, while the paddy and rice industry have been heavily focused in Peninsular Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak should not be overlooked.
Malaysia. It is important to note that Sabah and Sarawak also hold a wealth of diverse paddy and rice varieties that should not be overlooked.
While lead author and KRI's Deputy Director of Research, Dr. Sarena Cheoma, said that Sarawak and Sabah can leverage onto the specialty rice varieties by venturing into the premium rice segment, which will not only contribute to the self-sufficiency level of rice in Malaysia, but can also improve the income and the livelihood of paddy farmers.
To mention that we recognize and acknowledge that it is important to protect and save the rice supply. But we're also saying that if you want competition, commercialization and export, these are two different yet important objectives, meaning you need two different policies and regulations.
Thus, she said the current policy requires tweaking, as currently the rice and paddy industry is governed by a single regulation. An opportunity to develop a localized vaccine ecosystem can be realized through a shared expertise between Malaysia and Singapore. Following the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding or MOU between Malaysia and Singapore that would further explore the medical field, particularly in their medical equipment and clinical trials by both nations, said a medical officer for the National COVID-19 Immunization of Bawut District, Dr. Gerald Sim.
So actually, and many people, they are actually they are still skeptical and still thinking about whether is this vaccine safe, how safe. 10 years ago, we had to take so many clinical trials, but how did we expedite this COVID vaccine? We've seen side effects. Is it really just from the vaccine, or are there any other factors? So just by signing this collaboration on this memorandum of understanding and agreement, we will advance in terms of research, whereby we will be able to understand more regarding production of vaccines, its mechanism, and also whether any potential side effects. And because it is important for us to create, by doing the research, we have more evidence-based medicine, so we can answer the public confidently on the vaccine itself. In this aspect, is actually one of the biggest advantage that can be seen, because we know that to proceed with the research, there needs to be fundings. Not only fundings, there are many things that we have to look at as well.
The public skepticism on the vaccine is also rooted in the vaccine's young age, as the virus was only discovered just over 3 years ago. Therefore, the research, she added, should have a focus on exchanging medical expertise regarding the vaccine's efficacy, side effects, and side effects profiling, among others.
Besides joint collaboration in the development of a localized immunization vaccine, Dr. Gerald suggested an area where both Malaysia and Singapore could benefit greatly. In particular, the exchange of clinical expertise and experience in the managing saturated hospitals at time of distress in its preparedness and future-proof towards any pandemic situation.
I'm not really sure what they have planned, but I believe what would be good, other than actually research, would be actually medical knowledge exchange, and also exchange in terms of clinical experience on management. As we all know that in Malaysia and Singapore, both hospitals are often saturated with patients, meaning we often hear, oh, not enough bed in the hospital. Oh, we don't have enough staff to handle the patients. Now, in terms of this, I believe both sides have taken each to their own effort on how to manage this problem. So I believe one part is sharing of medical knowledge in terms of management.
For Dr. Gerald, the initial move of establishing a collaboration with Singapore is significant to understand the strengths and weaknesses in facilitating the respective medical fields.
Thank you for staying with me. The United States of America, or USA, has shown support to South Korea to counter North Korea's actions for conducting weapon drills that threaten the security of the South. The U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and South Korea's Defense Minister Lee Jong-suk have vowed to expand military drills and boost nuclear deterrence as a countermeasure.
Our commitment to the defense of the ROK remains ironclad. The United States stands firm in its extended deterrence commitment, and that includes the full range of U.S. defense capabilities, including our conventional, nuclear, and missile defense capabilities. And let me underscore our mutual belief that trilateral cooperation with Japan enhances all of our security.
Seconding the motion, Lee said consecutive provocations have violated the United Nations UN Security Council resolution and that the country strongly condemns North Korea's actions.
We agree to expand the range of information sharing needed for a response to North Korean nuclear threats. For joint planning, we reaffirmed the plan to revise the tailored deterrence strategy before the security consultative meeting this year. At the meeting with NATO Secretary General yesterday, I heard about the situation in Ukraine and we shared views on the need for the international community's efforts to help Ukraine. To answer to your question about our weapon support, I would just comment that we're closely watching the situation in Ukraine.
Both the U.S. and South Korea will hold nuclear tabletop exercises in February under the scenario of North Korea's nuclear attacks. The exercises are in line with the U.S. allies' talks to expand extended deterrence activities and mechanisms on the peninsula and in the region.
A male humpback whale washed ashore at Lido Beach in the town of Hampstead in New York. The town supervisor, Don Clevin, said this incident is the first in 5 years and by far the largest the town has seen on the shorelines in over a decade.
Clavin said the 10-meter whale washed ashore at 6:30 a.m. and subsequently died on location.
Yeah, around 6:30 this morning, we had a 35-foot humpback whale wash itself ashore. Unfortunately, it is now perished. We're working with state and federal authorities. We've removed the carcass higher in the shoreline to avoid the next high tide, and there'll be an autopsy conducted tomorrow to make a determination of the cause of death. We're working with NOAA, as well as DEC and our own crew right here, down here in Conservation and Waterways. The federal authorities will be doing the autopsy.
According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, this is the 18th largest whale to strand on the East Coast since December 1st, 2022.
That's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. I'm Shol Shamato. Thank you for watching.